When I say Belmont in Long Beach, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most people, it's gonna be the beach, Belmont Shore, Horny Corner, and all the things to do in coastal living. But today we're in Belmont Heights, and we're on the corner of 4th and Termino, one of my favorite corners here in this neighborhood, where you can pretty much find so many different shops, coffee shops, and some of my favorite stores. But before we visit them, I'm a little hungry, so let's go and check out Speak Cheezy. I've heard their pizza is amazing. Let's go try it. Okay, so we're here at Speak Cheezy, and I gotta be honest, this is the first time I come in here, but it's definitely not gonna be my last. Today, I'm having the vegetarian pizza with jalapenos, spinach, and mushrooms. You gotta try it. I gotta tell you, Chef Jason Winters has been doing it right. He has worked with some of the best chefs in the country for the past 27 years, and what started as a mobile pizza shop today is a storefront now on 4th and Termino. So whether you wanna stop by for lunch for a slice or take a whole pie home, you gotta come by. You gotta stop by Speak Cheezy. That pizza was delicious. And every time after lunch, I get a coffee craving. So again, just on this corner, I can grab coffee over at Viento y Agua. So let's go. And tucked away in the corner inside of Viento y Agua, you can find Adelita's Revenge, a small shop with curated selections of handcrafted products. They hold events like cultural celebration, artist workshops, and community gatherings. Their goal is ultimately to foster connection, growth, and empowerment. Got my iced Americano. Tastes just like home. And I always say that home isn't just a place, it's also a feeling. And you know those places when you walk in and you just feel warm inside? Well, that's 6 in Detroit. We're gonna go see it. Let's go. Today, we are also at 6 in Detroit, this adorable store here on the corner of 4th and Termino, and I'm here with the owner, Michelle. Michelle, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
I'm so excited to be at your store, and I have walked in here so many times and just get that feeling of warmth every time that I walk in. You have just celebrated 9 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in this specific location on 4th and Termino?
This specific location, 1 year. And then we were in downtown Long Beach for 8 years.
So Michelle, 6 in Detroit, I'm really curious, how did you come up with that name?
So I have always loved vintage from the get-go. And when I finished college, I got my first apartment up in LA, and 6 in Detroit were the cross streets. And that was my chance to film a place of my own full of vintage goodies. And I was thrifting and estate sailing, and that's where the passion just kind of like really grew. And I was finding so many treasures. I was like, you know what, I really need to share this with everyone. And so I started Etsy. And that's where it all began.
Etsy, the online store,
Correct.
right? It's an online store. So do you still have the online store, or now it's brick and mortar?
So now once I opened the brick and mortar, then I had to let Etsy shop go. But yeah.
And what are some of the first things that you hear from people that come into the store?
Well, the first thing I always hear is they just appreciate how curated it is and how edited all this vintage is. And I get asked a lot, where do you find all this stuff? You know, that's the number one question I get asked. But I feel like there are just all walks of life that come through the store, you know, of all ages, because I feel like there's something for everyone here, whether it be a little tchotchke or some glasses or a beautiful dress, you know. So I just really feel like there's something for everyone.
Thought about this. Anytime I walk into a place, right, there's always words that come to mind, or feelings, energy. What would you say? What are some words that would describe?
I feel like 6 in Detroit is very timeless, classic, fun.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you walk in?
No, that's great. Actually, yeah. The first time I walked in, I remember being really welcomed by all the colors and the natural light, right? I'm in real estate, so that's kind of how it feels when I walk into a home too, into a space. And one of the things that I always think about is the feeling that it causes me when I walk in. Is it calm? Is it right? And your store, 6 in Detroit, it feels very joyous. It's that joy when you walk in, and it could be, again, the colors, your energy as well as the owner, right? And everybody walks in here, but I just love how you decorate everything, how you've placed everything, and it's a nice flow.
That means a whole lot to me because, I mean, so much love and heart gets poured into this shop, and you saying that just like means a lot.
Oh. Yeah. So Michelle, can you tell us what some of the items that you have in the store are, as well as who are the vendors?
So we carry vintage furniture, vintage clothing, accessories, housewares, and jewelry, vintage jewelry. And, you know, as the shop evolved through the years, you know, and we moved to this location, I really wanted to open up to other women vendors or small business owners and share this space. And so I invited Nice One Vintage, New Vintage, Pilgrim Vintage, Sang House, Mind to Light, and Jua Archives. And so now we're just this happy little family in the shop, and you know, all our collections just kind of really blend well together.
That's nice. And where do they create these? Where do their creations come from? Are they doing this at home? Are they also what is it that they're doing? Where are they getting their product?
So one of the items is hand-fused glassware, and she creates all of this from home. And then the other curators, they curate on their own time, and they kind of bring their collection here into the shop. And then I kind of help with how placement and layout of the shop and things like that. But for the most part, each individual vendor has their own unique eye that they bring into the shop, and that I really value, their collection, what they bring to the table here.
And you know what? As I walk through, right, I see how you make these spaces, right? Like you have the kitchen, right, on that, and then you have a bunch of the decor for the kitchen. I'm really curious if anyone has ever walked in here and said, I want you to help me decorate my house.
Yes, actually. When I first opened up the shop, I had customers asking, do you ever help people out at home? How can I incorporate vintage into my home? Because I have a mix of new and old, and how do you blend it so well and seamlessly? And, I started taking on small jobs here and there, helping them mix the items in their home. And then sure enough, it just kind of grew into interior design services on the side.
Really?
So it's
organically.
Nice. Yeah, so 6 in Detroit does offer, styling or, layout or, design services on the side as well.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. See, and then I'm sure that because you have a good eye and because you have such a nice place here, that's just going to keep developing, right? Organically.
I hope so.
I could totally see that, Michelle.
Thank you
so much for having me.
Thank you, Gia.
There you have it. Did a little shopping, got some pizza, my iced Americano. Like I said, you can pretty much do anything here on 4th and Termino. So if you've been to this corner, comment below what your favorite spot is, and don't forget to subscribe and like. See you next time.